Welcome back. If you thought you had a busy week, you are going to want to buckle up. We're about to break down what was, no joke, one of the most transformative weeks in AI we've seen all year. It was packed with major moves from pretty much every corner of the industry.
So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? But that's really the scale we're talking about here. I mean, from the tools we use at work, to the actual chips powering this whole revolution, to the very structure of the industry's biggest players. It feels like everything shifted. So let's just start by looking at who was making all these waves.
I mean, look at this list. It's a real who's who of tech titans and the startups trying to unseat them. You've got Dropbox, OpenAI, Nvidia, Adobe, Extropic, and that's not even all of them. We're going to unpack what each of these moves means, starting with how AI is, just weaving itself into the very fabric of our daily work and our learning.
Okay, so our first big theme is all about integration. See, AI is no longer this separate tool you have to go to. It's becoming this fundamental layer that's just in everything, from heavy industry all the way to university classrooms.
And let's just start with the scale of it all. This number right here, $400 billion. That is the projected spending on industrial AI by 2030. We're talking about AI optimizing literally everything. Energy grids, manufacturing floors, driving these huge gains in efficiency and sustainability. This is not some niche market, folks. This is a core part of where the global economy is headed.
And speaking of work, check out this massive pivot from Dropbox. With their new tool Dash, they're basically saying, we're not just a place you store files anymore. They're becoming an intelligent AI teammate. It creates this knowledge graph that connects all your apps, Slack, Microsoft 365, you name it. But here's the really clever part. It processes video, audio, and images, and it grounds its answers only in your company's data. That means no weird hallucinations, which builds the kind of trust that big companies absolutely need.
And this integration is totally reshaping education too. California State University is teaming up with Amazon and OpenAI for this huge initiative to embed AI directly into their curriculum. So students are going to get hands-on experience building AI apps, getting them ready for a workforce where these skills, they're not optional anymore. They are essential.
Okay, so as AI just becomes, common, a whole new battle is heating up. And it's not just about who has the best model anymore. It's about becoming the go-to, indispensable platform that you just can't live without. Let's see how this is all shaping up.
A brand new survey from Artificial Analysis had some really surprising results. You can forget all the hype for a second. When it comes to generative media, it turns out Google is just dominating. Its Gemini model has captured 74% of AI image use, and Veo has 69% for video. But here's the key takeaway for businesses. They're seeing incredibly fast returns. Get this, 65% are getting their money back in under a year.
So the race is on to embed AI deeper and deeper into our workflows. Extropic just brought its model Claude right into Excel for financial analysis. And at the same time, Canva launched its own design-trained AI and what they're calling a creative operating system. The strategy here is crystal clear. Build an ecosystem that's so powerful and so convenient that you have absolutely no reason to leave.
Now, this slide brilliantly illustrates a split in how people are thinking about AI video. On one side, you have these clip generators like Sora or Veo. Think of it like making a movie. You give it a prompt, and a few minutes later, you get this high-quality, pre-made clip. But on the other side, you've got something like Odyssey 2, which is way more like playing a video game. It streams interactive video in real time, letting you direct the scene as it's happening. These are two totally different and, frankly, two incredibly powerful new ways to create.
And you just can't talk about a week in AI without talking about OpenAI. But this wasn't just another product launch for them. Oh no. This was a week of really profound internal and external shifts for the industry leader.
This question from an internal survey really says it all. A new report came out revealing that 1 in 5 OpenAI employees now comes from Meta. And this has sparked a pretty big culture clash. You've got Meta's famous growth at all costs mindset rubbing up against OpenAI's more research-first roots. It's gotten to the point where some teams are even exploring personalized ads in ChatGPT, an idea that CEO Sam Altman himself once called dystopian. But at the same time, they're pushing into completely new territory. OpenAI is making its third run at AI music, and this time they're collaborating with students from the prestigious Juilliard School to help train their models. Now, if this gets integrated directly into ChatGPT's massive user base, it could be the single biggest adoption moment for AI audio we have ever seen. Period.
And they're also tackling some really tough safety issues. OpenAI just rolled out major updates for GPT-5 to better handle mental health crises. The numbers are just staggering. They estimate that about 0.07% of their 800 million weekly users show signs of psychosis or mania. That translates to millions of really concerning conversations. The updated model is now 91% compliant with mental health protocols, which is a huge jump, and it's being driven by both ethical concerns and, frankly, a lot of mounting legal pressure.
And finally, the big one. The company completed its long and, well, controversial restructuring. It's now officially a public benefit corporation. As part of this whole deal, the terms with their biggest partner, Microsoft, have been revised. Microsoft's ownership stake is dropping, and there are new rules in place for verifying AGI, that's Artificial General Intelligence. This gives both companies a lot more independence going forward. It really marks the end of a long, pretty bumpy chapter for OpenAI.
Okay, let's shift gears now and talk about the engines of this revolution. The creative software that brings all these ideas to life, and the incredibly powerful hardware that makes it all possible in the first place.
At its big Max conference, Adobe just went all in on AI. They're adding AI assistants to Photoshop and rolling out a really powerful new Firefly model. But here's the crucial point. Their strategy is all about being open. They're integrating Google's Gemini and Veo directly into their tools. So they're positioning Adobe not as a competitor to these models, but as this indispensable creative layer that just sits on top of all of them. Smart.
And who powers all of this? Well, mostly Nvidia. And their CEO, Jensen Huang, just projected a mind-blowing $500 billion in revenue from their next-gen chips through 2026. This comes amid a blitz of new partnerships with everyone from the U.S. Department of Energy to Uber. Nvidia's dominance in AI hardware shows absolutely no signs of slowing down.
But a new challenger is thinking about this in a totally different way. A startup called Extropic just unveiled a new chip architecture that they claim uses 10,000 times less energy. How? Well, instead of the precise step-by-step processing of a GPU, their chips are probabilistic. They generate likely solutions directly. It's a trade-off. You get less precision, but you get a massive, massive leap in energy efficiency. This could be a huge paradigm shift.
And our tools are changing to match all this new power. The coding platform Cursor just launched its own model called Composer, and it's built for a future where a developer's job isn't writing every single line of code. Instead, their job is to direct and review the work of multiple AI agents at once. It's a bold bet on how software development itself is about to fundamentally evolve.
Okay, for our final theme, let's zoom out a bit and look at the really complex societal issues that are popping up from AI's rapid growth. Everything from safety and copyright to the very nature of consciousness.
So, in response to some intense legal and social pressure, Character AI is taking some very clear steps to protect minors. They're blocking open-ended chat for anyone under 18, they're using behavioral analysis to detect them, and then they're restricting those users to just the creative tools. This is part of a growing and frankly very necessary trend of age-gating these AI companion apps.
And over in the music world, conflict is actually turning into collaboration. Universal Music Group, who was suing the AI platform Audio, has now settled and announced a joint venture. They're going to build a licensed AI music platform together where artists actually get paid for training the models and for when their work is remixed. This could be the blueprint for how the entire music industry decides to engage with AI.
And we end on this. A fascinating new study from Anthropic found that its AI, Claude, actually shows some limited self-awareness. It can sometimes notice when concepts are artificially planted inside its own processing. This research opens a door to more transparent AI. So after a week where we've seen AI integrate into our jobs, our schools, our creative tools at this dizzying pace, this development leaves us with a fascinating and maybe slightly unsettling final question. As AI becomes more aware of the world around it, and now even of itself, what will it see next?